Emmitt Smith didn't just run the football, he ran through history. With determination etched into every stride and a vision that seemed to anticipate the field one step ahead of everyone else, Smith became the NFL's all-time leading rusher and one of the greatest champions the game has ever known. But his story wasn't just about yards gained or touchdowns scored. It was about perseverance, legacy, and the power of believing in yourself when others don't. Emmitt James Smith III was born on May 15, 1969, in Pensacola, Florida. From a young age, Emmitt was fueled by a sense of purpose and a fierce competitive drive. Raised in a working-class family, he learned the values of discipline and hard work from his parents, Mary and Emmitt Smith II. Times weren't always easy, but the Smith family was close, and their support would prove foundational to Emmitt's journey. As a boy, Emmitt fell in love with football, watching games on TV and imagining himself on those same fields one day. He played for Escambia High School in Pensacola and quickly established himself as a standout. He ran with power, balance, and purpose, racking up over 8,000 rushing yards in his high school career, making him one of the top prospects in the country. Yet, despite his jaw-dropping production, some scouts questioned his size and speed. At 5'9" and a little over 200 pounds, he didn't fit the mold of a prototypical NFL back. But Emmitt had heard doubters before, and he'd heard enough of them. He stayed in his home state and chose to play college football at the University of Florida. It didn't take long for Emmitt to prove the critics wrong. In his very first game, he rushed for over 100 yards, and by the time his freshman season ended, he had broken multiple school records. He was named the Southeastern Conference (SEC) Freshman of the Year and was quickly becoming a household name. Emmitt Smith was a natural. He had a rare ability to find holes in defenses, slip through tight spaces, and maintain balance after contact. His field vision was uncanny, almost like he could see the play before it happened. By the time he left Florida after his junior year, he had rushed for over 3,900 yards and 36 touchdowns. He declared for the NFL draft, and despite his college accolades, the questions about his speed and size persisted. In 1990, the Dallas Cowboys selected Emmitt Smith with the 17th overall pick in the first round. At the time, the Cowboys were in a rebuilding phase under new ownership and head coach Jimmy Johnson. The team had just come off a 1-15 season and was desperately searching for players who could change the franchise's fortunes. Smith didn't start the first 2 games of his rookie season, but once he hit the field, he made an immediate impact. He rushed for over 900 yards and 11 touchdowns that year, earning NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year honors. The Cowboys were building something special, and Emmitt was at the heart of it. Alongside quarterback Troy Aikman and wide receiver Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith formed the core of the Cowboys' new offensive juggernaut, later known as the Triplets. Together, they led Dallas back to prominence, combining talent, toughness, and a championship mentality. Smith's running style was unique. He wasn't the fastest, but he was relentless. He could take a hit, shed a tackle, and keep pushing forward. He seemed to get stronger as games wore on, often wearing down defenses in the second half. He was patient, letting blocks develop, and then exploding through the hole with purpose. His durability was unmatched. In a league where running backs often faded quickly, Smith kept showing up, week after week, year after year. In 1992, everything came together. Emmitt Smith rushed for 1,713 yards and 18 total touchdowns, leading the NFL in rushing and helping the Cowboys to a 13-3 record. In the playoffs, he elevated his game, running through the league's best defenses and guiding Dallas to its first Super Bowl appearance in over a decade. In Super Bowl 27, the Cowboys dominated the Buffalo Bills, and Emmitt played a key role, rushing for over 100 yards and scoring a touchdown. That victory was just the beginning. Over the next 3 years, the Cowboys would win 2 more Super Bowls, 18EI and XXX, cementing themselves as a dynasty and Smith as the engine that made it go. In Super Bowl 28, Emmitt was unstoppable. Playing through a painful shoulder injury he had sustained weeks earlier, he rushed for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns, earning Super Bowl MVP honors. It was a performance that defined who he was: tough, dependable, unselfish, and unbreakable. That same season, he also captured the NFL MVP award in his 3rd rushing title, proving that he wasn't just a great back, he was the best in the league. What set Emmitt Smith apart was his consistency. He led the NFL in rushing 4 times, was named to 8 Pro Bowls, and earned All-Pro honors throughout the 1990s. He had an incredible ability to stay healthy in one of the most physically punishing positions in sports. He rarely missed games, and when he did, he fought to return as quickly as possible. His love for the game, his team-first attitude, and his leadership were critical to the Cowboys' sustained success. As the years passed, Emmitt Smith continued to climb the ranks of the NFL's all-time rushing list. He wasn't flashy. He wasn't loud. But week after week, season after season, he showed up and got the job done. He was a model of consistency, stringing together season after season of high production. By 2002, Smith had his eyes on one of the most revered records in football, Walter Payton's all-time rushing yards record. Payton, known as Sweetness, had retired with 16,726 rushing yards, a mark many believed would stand forever. But Emmitt had been chipping away at it for years. Slowly, methodically, he was rewriting history. On October 27, 2002, in a game against the Seattle Seahawks at Texas Stadium, Emmitt Smith did the unthinkable. Early in the fourth quarter, he took a handoff and ran up the middle for an 11-yard gain, enough to surpass Walter Payton's record. The game was paused. Players, coaches, and fans stood in applause. Smith removed his helmet, tears in his eyes, and pointed to the sky. He had done it. The boy from Pensacola had become the NFL's all-time rushing king. He finished his career with a staggering 18,355 rushing yards, a record that still stands today. But Emmitt's career wasn't just about yards. It was about championships, durability, and excellence. He scored 164 rushing touchdowns, another all-time record at the time. He rushed for over 1,000 yards in 11 consecutive seasons, an NFL record. He played in 226 games as a running back, a feat of remarkable longevity given the toll the position takes on the body. And more than that, he did it all with grace, humility, and a respect for the game. In 2003, the Cowboys decided to move in a younger direction, and Emmitt was released by the team he had carried for over a decade. But he wasn't done. He signed with the Arizona Cardinals and played 2 more seasons before officially retiring in 2005. Though his time in Arizona lacked the glory of his Cowboy years, Smith still contributed and served as a mentor to younger players. When he retired, Emmitt Smith left the game as the most accomplished running back in NFL history. He held the records for career rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, and most games with a rushing touchdown. But perhaps more impressive than the numbers was the way he carried himself, never taking credit without giving it to his offensive line, always showing respect to opponents, and always remembering where he came from. In 2010, Smith was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. His induction speech was emotional, heartfelt, and filled with gratitude. He thanked his family, his coaches, his teammates, and especially his offensive line, the men he always insisted deserved as much credit for his success as he did. He paid tribute to his parents for instilling the values of faith, discipline, and perseverance. And he reflected on his journey from a boy with a dream to a man who had lived it. After football, Emmitt Smith found success off the field as well. He became a successful businessman, real estate developer, and television personality. He won the 3rd season of Dancing with the Stars, showing yet another side of his charisma and competitive nature. He also remained active in charitable work, focusing on education, youth development, and community service. Through the Pat and Emmitt Smith charities, he and his wife have impacted countless lives, proving that his legacy stretches far beyond the football field. Emmitt Smith's story is one of vision and resilience. He wasn't the fastest, the biggest, or the flashiest, but he was the most reliable. He was the one who kept going when others stopped, the one who found a way when there was no hole to run through, the one who ran behind his blockers, took the hits, kept his legs moving, and got back up every single time. He wasn't built like a prototype, but he became the standard. For every young athlete who's been told they're not tall enough, fast enough, or strong enough, Emmitt Smith is proof that heart, work ethic, and determination matter more than any scouting report. He is living evidence that greatness isn't always about flair. It's about commitment, consistency, and character. Today, Emmitt Smith is remembered not just as a Hall of Famer, not just as a Dallas Cowboy legend, but as a symbol of endurance. His journey from Florida high school fields to the top of the NFL rushing mountain is one of the most inspiring in sports history. He proved that greatness isn't about one game, one season, or one moment. It's about showing up, day after day, and giving everything you've got. In an era of flashy highlights and short-lived fame, Emmitt Smith reminds us that true greatness is built over time, that every yard matters, that every rep counts, and that if you run with heart, you can run into history.